Guten Morgen, Jahr 8. Frohes neues Jahr. Good morning, Year 8. Happy New Year. I didn't think I'd be back on YouTube, but here we are. So I hope you had a restful Christmas. Now today we're going to be doing a revision of what you've covered so far in the first half term learning German in Year 8. We're going to begin by looking at Module 1, Hallo. This was all to do with greetings and basic things you needed to know in German. For instance, numbers and letters and describing yourself and what you have in your school bag and talking about birthdays. We're going to treat each of these in turn and go through each part you should have learnt. And if you've missed any lessons, this should be really helpful. I'd like you to try and repeat after me so you're practicing speaking. So firstly, our first topic was about Wie heißt du? And I hope you remember what that question meant. What did it mean? Correct. What's your name? So, key vocabulary. Please repeat after me. Hallo. Guten Morgen. Guten Tag. Wie heißt du? Ich heiße. Wie geht's? Gut, danke. Nicht schlecht, danke. Nicht so gut. Auf Wiedersehen. We also learnt numbers, and we learnt numbers up to 100, but here are the numbers up to 20. I'd like you to repeat after me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I wonder if you remember how we say numbers over 20 in German. Have a quick think to yourself. Would you be able, for instance, to think of how to say the number 24? To say a number over 20, you say the first digit, you add a und, and then the second number. So in English we say 25, but the Germans say 5 and 20, 25. In English we say 38, but the Germans say 8 and 30, 38. In English we say 84, the Germans say 4 and 80, 84. The second topic was talking about where you live and understanding verbs using ich, I, du, you, he, and sie, she. Again, I'd like you to repeat after me. Wo wohnst du? Do you remember what this question meant? Correct, it means where do you live? Ich wohne in Amerika. I'd like you to repeat after me. Ich wohne in Deutschland. Ich wohne in England. Ich wohne in Frankreich. Ich wohne in Griechenland. Ich wohne in Irland. Ich wohne in Österreich. Ich wohne in Schottland. Ich wohne in Spanien. Ich wohne in Wales. The verb to live is wohnen, and here are the separate parts. Ich wohne, I live. Du wohnst, you live. Wohnt, he lives. Sie wohnt, she lives. So how would you say he lives in Scotland? Correct. Wohnt in Schottland. How would you say I live in Greece? Correct. Ich wohne in Griechenland. We then moved on to das Alphabet, spelling in German and using the different parts of the alphabet there, and der, die, das, meaning the three different genders, masculine, feminine and neuter. So for this, we learnt the alphabet song, and I'd like you to sing after me. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, V, X, Y, Z. And you may remember we thought about spelling our name. So if your name was George, you'd spell it G, E, O, R, G, E. Okay, if your name was Bob, it would be B, O, B. So we have the question, wie heißt du? Meaning, what's your name? And you'd answer, ich heiße Anna. But somebody might ask you, wie schreibt man das? Any ideas what that question would mean? Correct, it means how do you spell it? Man schreibt das A-N-N-A. We also looked at die Farben. What were the die Farben? Correct, they were the colours. Okay, please repeat after me. Rot, blau, gelb, braun, grün, orange, schwarz, weiß, grau. Our fourth topic was all to do with what you have in your school bag. We're going to go through the key vocabulary and I'd like you to repeat after me. Ich habe einen Bleistift. Ich habe einen Kuli. Ich habe einen Klebstift. Ich habe einen Taschenrechner. Ich habe eine Schere. Ich habe eine Schultasche. Ich habe ein Buch. Ich habe ein Etui. Ich habe ein Heft. Ich habe ein Lineal. Ich habe ein Wörterbuch. Hopefully you noticed there we had ich habe, meaning I have, and einen for masculine, eine for feminine, and here ein for neuter. Ich habe ein Wörterbuch. I have a dictionary. On to the fifth topic from Module 1. Wann hast du Geburtstag? And this question means when's your birthday? So again, we're going to go through the key vocab. And we're going to look at the different months. I'd like you to repeat after me. Januar, Februar, März, April, Mai, Juni, Juli, August, September, Oktober, November, Dezember. Remember, when you're answering the question, wann hast du Geburtstag, when's your birthday, you need 4 different parts. You need to say, ich habe am, and then choose the number, remembering that if it's the 1st to the 8th, you use either ersten, zweiten, dritten, vierten, fünften, sechsten, siebten, or achten. If it's between the 9th and the 19th, you use the standard number, for instance, 11, meaning 11, and you add a ten for the 11th, elften. If it's between the 20th and the 31st, you have the number and you add a sten. For instance, the 24th would be 24sten. Then you have the month and then Geburtstag at the end. So for me, I would say, ich habe am 27. Oktober Geburtstag. Can you tell me when my birthday is? I'll repeat it again. Ich habe am 27. Oktober Geburtstag. Correct, my birthday's on the 27th of October. I'll be expecting a lot of presents next year. Then we moved on to Module 2, and this was all about school. And for many classes, you've only done the first 2 topics of this module. So firstly, was ist dein Lieblingsfach? What did that question mean? Was ist dein Lieblingsfach? Well done, it meant what's your favourite subject? We're going to go through some answers to this now, and again I'd like you to repeat after me to practice your speaking. Was ist dein Lieblingsfach? Mein Lieblingsfach ist Deutsch. Mein Lieblingsfach ist Informatik. Mein Lieblingsfach ist Werken. Mein Lieblingsfach ist Erdkunde. Mein Lieblingsfach ist Englisch. Mein Lieblingsfach ist Mathe. Mein Lieblingsfach ist Kunst. Mein Lieblingsfach ist Geschichte. Mein Lieblingsfach ist Französisch. Mein Lieblingsfach ist Naturwissenschaften. Mein Lieblingsfach ist Musik. Mein Lieblingsfach ist Sport. Mein Lieblingsfach ist Theater. We also had this question, wie findest du Deutsch? Any ideas what that meant? Correct, how do you find German? And we use different opinion phrases here, different adjectives. So you could say, ich finde Deutsch gut. I find German gut. Good. Ich finde Deutsch schlecht. I find German bad. Hope none of you would find that. Ich finde Deutsch interessant. I find German interesting. Ich finde Deutsch langweilig. I find German boring. Ich finde Deutsch einfach. I find German easy. Ich finde Deutsch schwierig. I find German difficult. Ich finde Deutsch toll. I find German great. Ich finde Deutsch furchtbar. I find German terrible. We then moved on to talking about the school timetable and telling the time. Now, to ask somebody what's the time, you can ask different questions. You can ask, wie spät ist es? How late is it? Or, wie viel Uhr ist es? How many hours is it? What's the time? There are 2 different ways to tell the time, and I'm going to show you both of them. Can you repeat after me? Es ist 1 Uhr. Literally, it is 1 hour. Es ist 1:15 Uhr. Es ist 1:30 Uhr. Es ist 1:45 Uhr. Es ist 2 Uhr. So that was a basic way of telling the time, but you can also tell the time in a slightly different way in German, and we do this in English too. We might say it's 1:15, but we might also say it's 1:15, and this is the second form of telling the time now. Es ist 2 Uhr. It is 2 o'clock, same as before. Es ist 2:05. It is 5 after 2, so it is 5 past 2, we'd say in English. So the equivalent for this from the previous way of telling the time would be Es ist 2:05. Keeping going. Es ist 2:10. Please repeat after me. Es ist 2:10. Es ist 2:15. Es ist 2:20. Es ist 2:25. Es ist 2:30. Now you might be thinking, hang on a moment, this says it is 3:30, but the time here is 2:30, and in English we say that the time would be it is 2:30, it is 2:30. However, we say 2:30, but the Germans say 2:30. So when we would say 2:30, they would say es ist 2:30. And when you get on into GCSE German, the examiners love to try and trick you out with that. Es ist 3:25. Literally, it is 5:20 before 3. It is 25 to 3. Still repeating, please. Es ist 3:20. Es ist 3:15. Es ist 3:10. Es ist 3:05. Es ist 3 Uhr. Here we have a text that combines all of that revision we've done into a text from somebody called Lena, and I'm going to read that to you now. Hallo, wie geht's? Ich heiße Lena und ich bin 24 Jahre alt. Ich habe am 25. Juni Geburtstag und ich wohne in Österreich. In meiner Schultasche habe ich einen Klebestift, einen Taschenrechner, eine Schere und ein Etui. Was hast du in deiner Schultasche? Mein Lieblingsfach ist Geschichte, weil ich es sehr interessant finde. Am Mittwoch um 2:30 habe ich Erdkunde. Ich finde Erdkunde sehr langweilig. Was ist dein Lieblingsfach? Auf Wiedersehen! Your homework for this week is to translate this text into English. If you're stuck on any of the words, you should be able to find the meaning on the website that's on the left hand in blue, dich.cc. Just type in the word and it will give you the answer in English for the individual word. I'd like you to send these translations to your class teacher. So if you're in my class, that's Miss Watson, it's jwatson@stbeeds.cams.sch.uk. And for other teachers, you should be able to know their addresses. I hope you're all well, and I look forward to seeing you back in school, hopefully in not too long. Auf Wiedersehen!